The bottom really just shows the same old shit. Tank kiting, drone following, spiderlings following, and range doing their fucking shit. The top shows a little bit of a different story. Those little maroon blobs, again, RNG variables, I can't predict where they're going to land, but the meteors that will be falling on the top of the web, you want to sidestep them, avoid them. They will fall on you. They probably target you. I'm not sure as of yet. It's still in the beta, but the top people, healer, tank, and 1 to 2 DPS, you're going to want to sidestep and avoid them. And the other thing is that when the meteors hit, they're going to burn a hole in the top of the web, which means you can fall through them, and people below them, in the below bottom floor group, those meteors will actually shower them with a bit of AoE raining damage. Nothing big, maybe a few thousand, 5 to 10, and it is unavoidable, so yeah. But one thing to consider is when those meteors do land and they do burn a hole, that's your escape route. That's how you're going to get back down to the bottom story and below the web. And you're going to want to do that because every now and then she's going to blow up, and the top, if you're up top, you're going to get owned. This just shows when the boss does start doing her smoldering devastation and blowing up, you're going to want to get the fuck out. The arrows on the top of the web, the healer, tank, and 2 melee, that's them just heading to the meteors that burnt a hole in the web. They're going to run through these little holes, and they're going to fall through to the bottom of the web. Again, same shit on the bottom. Tank's going to be kiting the drone, and the spiderlings are going to be trying to get to the drone. Chances are, though I didn't draw them up, there are going to be more drones at this time, and probably quite a more spiderling, so it's not as easy as it looks right there. There's going to be much more of an overwhelming factor to it, but yeah. This is the last frame of Phase 1 that I'm going to explain, and that's really just once the top group, the healer, off tank, and 2 melee, once they join the main group, after they hop down, that's going to be about the point where the bottom group is starting to get overwhelmed and they really got to start nuking shit up. The off tank is going to help out and grab whatever drone he can if there's one alive. Melee's going to start fucking up either one of the 2 drones, probably the one with lower health, and range is going to start taking care of the drones if possible and the spiderlings. It's a very situational fight. You have to be just kind of quick on your feet. You have to have smart DPS, not just good DPS. There's not so much a priority, but you know, of course, if the spiderling's going to get to the drone, you have to slow affect them. You know, stuff like that. There's a bunch of situational things that you have to be quick on your toes about. Also, the healer is going to run back and join the main raid group in the center. Now, the few frames that I showed you before are pretty much a rinse and repeat 3 times over. Because of the smoldering devastation, after the 3rd time, Phase 2 begins. And in this time, you of course want to do as much damage on the boss as possible. A few things to note, however, is 1, you're going to want to save your lust for Phase 2. The second thing is any ads that can be burned down, that are alive, you want to get rid of them as quickly as possible before or during the transition of Phase 2. Also, if there are any spiderlings on the middle of the bottom platform, when she comes down, she's going to land in the middle, and if she lands on top of these spiderlings, each one is going to heal her for 10% of her health, which is, of course, very, very bad. So what's going to happen is she's going to drop down, you guys are going to nuke the ads, whatever's remaining, do the normal kite shit for the drones, the works. After that, she's going to start doing Frenzy. It's increased damage over time. It's a soft enrage. At first, it'll do mediocre damage, and by the end, you'll be like struggling for tranquilities and stuff like that. Again, soft enrage is going to start doing more and more damage. The positioning is most of the raid is going to be behind her. and of course melee behind her because of expertise and hit and all that stuff. And the tanks are actually going to be separated, main tank or either or of the tanks being off to the side, and a tank with aggro in front of her. She's going to give a debuff on one of the tanks. It's called Widow's Kiss, I believe. It increases your fire damage and a bunch of other things. Pretty much what I'm going to say is tank swap. Whenever you get this debuff, and you have to stay clear of each other, tanks, because you'll start blowing each other up. That's why you are spread out. You have to also pop cooldowns, healers cooldowns, properly, and everyone has to pop defensive cooldowns. Healers have to rotate their cooldowns properly. Tranquility, Spirit Link Totem, Holy Radiance in conjunction with Blessing, Guardian of the Kings, Healing Rain, Efflorescence, Raid Heals, Circle of Healing, Light Well, all of that stuff, pop cooldowns for this. You're gonna Lust, Nuke, Balls to the Wall, everything. There's not really much to Phase 2. It's a general clean up the trash that's left over and nuke her to shit and stack properly. And of course it's a gear check in a way, even though she is the intro boss, you just need to fucking burn her to shit.